Let me recognize the able president of LACS, Mr. President, the vice president and other leaders of LACS. And to all of us, let me say good evening to us. We are very happy to come together because I don't think there is any other thing that is a stronger force than our being together in unity as brothers, as sisters, as friends, as people who may put our ideas and everything we have together to change our world. The more divided we are, the more we are likely to not succeed. So I'm glad that we are putting much of effort into togetherness and being together as this. So let's continue that. Secondly, I want to say that, well, a moment like this, you don't want to hear somebody saying something educational or something motivational, or whatever way you may term it, because everybody looking now, there's something there jolly, we want to go to that. Well, but I want you to give me some of your attention, maybe for 10-15 minutes allotted to me, so that I can be able to say a few things that I think do matter for us to move ahead in our journey of life. I personally believe that every time we have an opportunity, we must spice it up with knowledge sharing, because pleasure or entertainment that is not backed by some level of education or uplifting is normally turning bitter. So I think it was a brilliant decision for the leadership to think about how can we have something like sharing and all that into this. I believe is very important. So we are glad. But to appreciate the level of resilience, the level of determination and effort put in by our new graduates, I want us to applaud them. Yeah, let's really do this intentionally. Some of us were so blessed. I left China 4 months when COVID emerged from Wuhan. All of us know that's the region. And these people have been locked down for 6 months or even more. And we know how Chinese system works. But in spite of huge challenges they encountered, they did not give up. And we did not even hear a situation, God forbid, of somebody thinking about doing something funny. So they are heroes and heroines we should celebrate. Actually, this welcoming program is not just to bring them, but to also appreciate them for the level of courage they have to have stayed there. When I was thinking about saying a few words here, I thought that all of us got a Chinese experience, but the experience they got is different from all of us. But I really felt the pinch through what they were going through, and we are very glad that many of them made it, and today they are here with us. So again, we want to say congratulations, and now I can clearly say without mixing my words, child to you guys, and we are so happy that you've come to join us. I want to share with us a few things, few thoughts, and some of them are coming from some of the writing. Many of you know I like writing books and doing some public speaking as this. But when the COVID was emerging, and with the eagerness to assist, we thought about contributing to the knowledge economy and helping people to overcome tough times, helping people to be able to strive, to remain positive, to be resilient, especially when all hell breaks loose. So in that book, many of you have read it or seen some posts around it. It was just our own deliberate way of just trying to encourage people. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share a few thoughts on overcoming tough times just in passing. And then also, I would like to share a little bit of experience on readjustment, because many of our new members need to learn some of the techniques that we definitely utilize to get adjusted where we are and also going further. And then lastly, we will speak briefly about life after formal education. Now, getting started on overcoming tough times. Why studying to put that book together with a mentee, stay studying in China? I really have a lot of literature review and study and realizing how people have been overcoming challenging situations in their life. Personally, I've had a lot of them. One of the worst ones was in 2014. You know, I was predicted, my birth was predicted, you know, not looking like Jesus, but my birth was predicted by a mother who later adopted me, but she died 3 days after I graduated and got masters as one of the best international students. I overcame that. And many other adversities then. So I felt that I was in a situation to help others to overcome in a way. Now, what did I realize in this pursuit? 2 things. And I want you to take a note even as we prepare for other things. But we just realized just 2 things. And in fact, these 2 things won't change. According to Jim Rohn, he's gone now, but he said, if you read the history of the world, 2,000 years back and 2,000 years forwards, 2 things won't change. And those 2 things are basically adversities or difficulties and opportunities. Yesterday, there were difficulties and there were opportunities. And then today, there are difficulties and there are opportunities. So that's how life is. Now, 2 things, those 2 things again bring us to how do we handle the 2 things. One is whether we reaction, or we respond to the situation. Meaning that when we are reacting, we are looking at the negative implications of what we are encountering. If we are responding, we are thinking about actions to overcome. So those are the 2 important things. In fact, Miles Monroe said, if you react, you are a victim. And if you respond, you are a victim. Now, what he was trying to tell us basically is that whenever we give up the right to overcome, we just react. We feel so negative about the situation. But when you think about how to deal with the situation, then you have strength. Now, many of us, many of you here are engineers and you know about connection. Like here, there are 2 things that are supplying light, maybe to have a power here, right? There is positive and there is negative. 2 things. So the life situation is like those 2 things. There will always be positive and negative. The same thing we can say challenges or difficulties. So 2 negative cannot produce a current. 2 positive and 2 positive cannot produce result as well. Even your car cannot start with the battery just plugged. Only on other positive portion or negative portion. Now the COVID situation, we realized in that analysis, it was already negative. So all we needed to do was to connect what could be positive to send a better chance. So for example, thinking about connecting positive to COVID, many people won't think that, but you can choose to react or choose to respond. That's the thing. So we must make a decision to respond rather than react, or connect positive to negative to strive. If we choose the situation is negative and we also act in a negative way, the result will be big challenge that we cannot handle that we want to accomplish. So in a COVID situation, for example, we realize that there were some positive situation that could help to offset the challenge of what we are facing. For example, many of us here posted a lot of scriptures during the COVID situation. Am I right? Many of you pray more than you are praying now during the COVID situation. Is that right? And you were quite committed to the Creator. That's not bad, because if you think that the result we have is connected to a supernatural source, you have the bigger bargain. And you can do quite well. So if you are being connected to the source, then you stand a better chance to be strong. Think about the family. Many of us who went to China, we know that Chinese abandoned their cities at the end of January, beginning February, to go to their villages and towns. That's family reunion. During the COVID, it's the first time for many people in the world to stay home with the family for a week, or a month, or two. Now, sometimes it doesn't make sense, but I just want you to try to capture sense in this. Basically, what we are giving you or trying to say is trying to convert a bad situation to your advantage. That is a skill that is very essential. We cannot stop looking for such skill. So I could go on naming the family reunion. Some people got so close to their families. Education shifted. They all realized, big countries, they realized they cannot even do it by themselves. So those things we needed to tap into to do well, and many others. So to conclude this part and talk to us on the two remaining parts, let's realize keenly that whenever you are going through tough time, you cannot connect that with a negative thought. If we talk about the Bible, we see that the children of Israel coming from Egypt, they were confronted with a lot of complaints. In fact, they complained so much that the Creator was angered. The Creator was really feeling bad about them. In Numbers 14:28, he said, I will do what I hear you say. So, in fact, today, what you are saying is a validation. One thing I want us to take from here is, what are we saying to ourselves? What are we saying about others? Because that promise has been made in the past. So if we keep, that's why I normally don't utter anything ugly about others and myself. Because I know that principle so well, that the Creator has promised that He will do what He hears or say. So in the middle of adversity, there lies there an opportunity. So again, I just wanted to encourage you on overcoming tough time. It's a lot of it that, we've been talking about impulse. But just remember, when the situation is bad, you must look for good. Too bad cannot make things right. And just like that. Don't forget two realities of life: hard times and good times, and will always come. Okay, a few pieces of advice on what you may need to triumph. I have readjusted in the Liberian society twice. I left here 2012, 2014, I came back. I was with an autonomous agency, and I have to take a steady leave without pay because I was on a World Bank project then. When I came back, those doors were closed. Right now, you may be in that situation I was in when I came back to Liberia in 2014. That particular door was closed, and few other people. We have a saying that out of sight is out of mind. In some cases, that statement is true. Only a few real friends will still remember that someone who had gone there. So right now, there are some people who didn't see you for 2-3 years. They may not take you as they were taking you before. Consider that. Think about what we talk about to try to connect something positive to that and see it as a challenge and work around it. Eventually, you are going to maneuver and get into society. One other advice is, plan is very important. And I write on plan and talk on plan because it's one of the things that changed my life. You must be deliberate about what you are doing right now to enter the system. Anything you are trying as a guest or getting up in the morning, who should I call, who should I visit, what should I do, cannot add value to your work. So you need a small plan, actually. You need to plan the institutions that are related to the kind of training you've got, maybe less 10, 15. And then next, think about possible people who may be in those institutions. Like, this is a very good opportunity. Okay, last almost every ministry or agency, almost, we have members there. Think about who we can connect that is close to what you specialize in, all right, based on what you listed. These people have information. When we started networking, what we realized, even jobs, about 75% information are given out to people before they are advertised. Meaning that you are insiders who have the information, and your ability to connect to these people will now place you in a better chance to get the information, get prepared beforehand, and then penetrate. In fact, some of them are not advertised at all. So you need that plan, have something, the institution, the days, and then try to work on that. The last advice before I go to the last point, I know it's not time to speak too long, but the last advice is you need a starting point. When I came back 2019 with PhD in educational psychology, again, at this time, I had left the ministry, I was director again, but then coming back to enter again is another thing, okay? So when I came first, I had a plan that I'll just share with you. For me, I've been planning since 2007. 11-year plan. In fact, the plan I have now is around 20 pages. So I'm not just teaching educational planning, but I deliberately plan. Now, plan entry. You need to start from somewhere. If you want to act very big, just to say in the simplest form, it will be challenging. When I came back 2019, one of the things I had in the plan was lectures. Okay? So I had people who I could relate to. We were discussing and the president came. And he saw me and said, come to my office tomorrow. So that's good. Okay? I'm not graduate, that's fine. So we had a discussion. The following day or so, I started work because there was a plan to back it up. Well, in the process, what you need right now is to create a balance in whatever you are doing to compensate for your expenses. So you just need a base, because every day you spend, whether you like it or not. And one embarrassing thing about it is that the expectation is already there. People want you to give them money, whereas you don't have it, So you need something to get started, and then you can move on. I was there for some time. Cottington hired me, University of Liberia Graduate School. I'm just telling you that to say the entry point is very important. Don't overlook it. If you overlook the entry point, you may struggle much longer, and we don't want that. Finally, all of us, and this is to all of us, I teach curriculum development at Cottington, and in this process we realize the insufficiency of education. When we were being taught, we were not taught everything. We were never taught everything. Even you are in Howard University or whatever university you can't be taught everything. Is that right? Yes, that is. So we realized that in fact, first people forget about something when they're preparing the textbook, and then when they're teaching again, they leave some things behind. So those of us who will not be deliberate to compensate for somebody's missing things will be average people in the society. We cannot afford to have large members in average. We need to get engaged if we are not doing it, or even if we are doing it, we want to use this opportunity to let you know that you need to learn every day as you eat every day. I do learn every day besides teaching 5 educational courses and working and doing other things. So that in itself gets you prepared for whatever challenge may come your way. So I want to encourage all of us, what we got was then, and knowledge is doubling every 5 years. So let's make effort to continuously read some of the stuff you could not get in depth. You need to now push it. It's not only about going to another school to get, of course I was just part of a fellowship, which was another plus, but you yourself must have your own learning activities, and in so doing, it will help you. So thank you for this opportunity once again to the leadership. I'm glad to share some thoughts with you. Like we said, we are proud of you graduates. We know we did it, and you can also do it. Let's go together, let's work together, and make a change in our community. God bless you, and thank you for the opportunity.